All right. This is too big. It's too big. All right. So let's get into it. We got a couple more days before the election happens, so we're gonna go ahead and get this thing kicked off. We got the Joe Rogan Experience. We're gonna watch that with Trump. What I do on this stream, for those of y'all that are new here, I'm somebody who wants to understand perspectives, right, and understand exactly what people are talking about. So what we're gonna do is look and watch the Joe Rogan Experience with Donald Trump and just see, what he talks about. What is he into? When he talks policy, when he talks economic things. Joe's probably gonna give him softball questions, but at the same time, I want to see how he's going to handle these things. Because as we approach the election, right, I've noticed, because this is what I do know, I fact check, I critique. When it comes to policy from the economic perspective, we haven't really seen any tangible things from Donald Trump. And maybe I'm missing it. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's something that I look at all the time, and I'm like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm missing these things. But let's jump right into it. I don't want to waste too much of y'all's time. We got a long time.
And systematically, when you see those same people in the past, very favorable to you, like Oprah, when you were on Oprah's show,
very.
She was encouraging you to be
Last
president.
week, I did one of her last shows. I think maybe Thursday or Friday. That was a big deal being on Oprah's show, the last one. And I was like one of the last shows in that final week. And I said, boy, we've come a long way since that.
What was it like?
The concept, it was really like two different lives. I had a very wonderful life, but I wanted to do this, The Apprentice.
First and foremost, so Black Geek Energy. So chat be killing me, right? Did you vote? Did you vote? And I was gonna say yes. I think 2 days ago, y'all asked me, did I vote? And I said, I was gonna say yes, but then I was like, y'all do know my real name. So y'all can just look it up. And so I said, no, I didn't vote. And then y'all killed me for that. But this morning, I went and voted. It took, let me go on a tangent about voting real quick. If you early vote, it takes you 5 minutes. I'm not gonna lie to you. If you early vote, it takes 5 minutes. For those of y'all that have very goldfish brains, and that's not an insult, it's just you forget things. People who want to sit out this election, lesser of two evils, all that, we already did that. We did that in 2016. It did not work. It did not work at all, right? And so, for those of you that are sitting on the fence saying, hey, I don't want to vote, whether you vote for Trump, whether you vote for Kamala, it's totally up to you. For me, a Trump voter is someone that is uneducated about something. And I don't mean that as far as your intelligence, right? I'm not a rocket scientist. I'm smart in other things, but I'm not smart in that. But I mean, you have the chance to look at policy, look at things that he's planning on talking about doing. And from me being chronically online and watching these things all the time, I consistently see nothing that is of substance. I watch the rallies, I watch the briefs. He goes on tangents all the time. He doesn't really talk about how he's going to do these things. His platform that we went over yesterday, or 2 days ago, bare bones. User, tell me his policies. Tell me the one that you're most excited about. You have time. Go ahead, type it in. What is your policy that you're so excited for, right? That's the thing. When people say Trump 2024, it doesn't really come with substance. Like, if you ask me why I'm going for his administration, so do you think, not detected, do you think that Trump's administration last time was great? And I ask you, close the border. Ruth Kerr King, I need you to understand that immigrants aren't affecting your life. Like, we gotta stop. Canadians coming over here, Hispanics coming over, they're not affecting your life. They're actually making it better, right? Because the cost right now of goods is high because they are paying the immigrants that are doing the work less than. So imagine if they were paying a fair market value for this work. It would be crazy, right? Everything that someone can say, you can refute. North Korea relationships, Jesus Christ. North Korea can't launch a rocket outside of their own borders. They've been doing, I don't know how old you are, but I've been watching them launch a rocket, it crashed, for the last 20 years. That's one thing about getting older. You know things because you experience them, right? His policy. Let's go through some of the things. They're gonna say something about groceries. Exactly. They always say something about groceries. I'm like, fam, the president, Donald Trump is not about to go to Whole Foods and be like, cut it out, lower the price. It doesn't affect him. He doesn't buy food. He has no reason to do that. Donald Trump was already president. He didn't do anything. In fact, I just did a video about the metrics. Again, if I'm talking to up there, please let me know. I'll bring it down here. I just did a video going over several metrics that Donald Trump was over. And we looked at Obama and Trump's presidency and their effects of these various metrics. When it came to unemployment was extremely high. In 2008, when the housing crisis happened, it was about, I think, 9%, something like that. And Obama brought it down to about 4%, 4.8, something like that. Trump just kept it where it was. That's it. Didn't go down lower, it just was where it was. Consumer confidence. Consumer confidence is essentially saying that you feel confident as a consumer to purchase goods and things like that. It was non-existent when Obama got in, and he took it to a new height. And then Trump pretty much kept it where it was until the coronavirus happened. You see what I'm saying? You're not. This isn't some random live with some dude like, I think we should go out and vote because they're gonna do. No, you're talking to somebody that, in his day job, is a data analytics scientist, right? I go over data points and I figure out cognizant issues that we can fix or things we're doing well. And based on my suggestions, companies make moves. So you're not gonna come here and tell me he gonna fix the border. The border crisis would be astronomically expensive to do. I think I'm the only analyst. You're right. I'm not the only analyst. The economists, economic analysts, have said that the tariff plan that Donald Trump has tried to lay out is going to cost the country crazy amounts of inflation. So, I don't think you know what's crazy? We watched, you're talking to a streamer here. We watched the economic club that he went to, both New York and Chicago. And in both of those, outside of the fanboys that were in there, the host and several economists were saying, hey, this plan that you've laid out is not very viable. What do you have to say with that? And Trump didn't really have too many answers for him. He kind of argued random things, and dude was like, I didn't ask any of those things. I asked you about this. So again, I think that Trump's whole shtick is that he wants to galvanize the less fortunate. And when I say less fortunate, I mean individuals that have not been talked to by anybody in any sort of realm from politics, from a political standpoint. No Democrats, no Republicans. We're talking more poor whites, someone who is barely making it. And the reason why we see the correlation between the Nazis and the Trump administration is because they do have some similarities. Now, I know you're probably tired of hearing people say, oh, Trump is like Hitler, la da 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 da. However, if I were to tell you that we're talking about both groups, demonized communities, made people feel like they had other people to blame, came at LGBT, demonized minorities, installed politicians and other local officials to do their bidding. Who do you think I'm talking about? Who do you think I'm talking about? You see what I'm saying? You see how you don't know who I'm talking about? I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about the other one. You see what I'm saying? And when you vote for his administration, more people vote Republican, which tend to lead to small government. More small government. I don't think you know what that phrase means you just said. I'm going to let you say it, though, because it's your right. But Republicans don't really care about you. Now, not detected, I'm going to assume you're a middle-class person. Lower middle class or middle class. And I don't know of any policy that you could name, unless you can, where we've seen that Donald Trump has done something, or not even Donald Trump, Republicans in general have done something for you, right? Like, when we talk about the tariffs, the ideas to bring more jobs to America, the time and money and overall build out of that plan would not happen most likely during that presidency. You understand? It's just not how it goes. I understand that people feel as though that's what would happen, but I know it's not. United States Marine Corps. Oh, sweet Jesus. It's tough to understand why armed forces deal with Trump the way they do, because we've seen the way he speaks about them. And you always play it off like it's a joke, it's whatever. It's not, man. I understand he's an entertaining person. I find him entertaining. But at the same time, this is our country. The divisiveness that we felt is not because of Democrats. What the Democrats said that was so divisive? Calling him a Nazi? Yeah. His own cabinet, his administration, as you say, you're so excited to see. Most of them are either in jail or have turned against him. Oh, United States, Mexico. I thought you said United States, America. Listen, bro, you can't use acronyms just willy-nilly. United States, Mexico, Canada agreement. Let's see what that is. Let's see what this man talking about here. Oh, the free trade agreement? Listen, brother, I don't know how if you don't think that, like he said, the tariffs that he plans on putting on are not just for China, they're for everyone. So, it was good for our economy. Brother. When we look at the economy, we've been saying for years that Trump didn't impact it the way in which we feel like we did. It's just not true. Like, we've gone through this numerous times. All right, we've done this dance, and I don't know how many more data points I can pull to show people this. I just don't. Like, you know, we have everybody up in a tiff right now because Biden called his Trump supporters garbage. They are. They act like it, right? We don't really have a lot of sensible Trump supporters. Republicans maybe, but Trump supporters, you know. It's just because they don't live in reality. They want to deport 10 million people or 21 million people, based whatever Trump said. Trump said between 2 and 21 million people. That would be number one. Let me show you something. Actually, let me show you something. How many people are in prison in the U.S.? As of December 31st, 2022, there were 1.2 million people in prison. You think that the deportation is just get on the bus, we're going back to Mexico? You see what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? That's it's not possible to do this. We jail a bunch of people. There's all the people we jail, it's 1.2 million. There'll be detention camps, the light of which we've never seen. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's very draconian. And the fact you're like, oh, we're going to get the border under control, what do you think that entails? We have people who are born in America that are of Hispanic descent. You think they're going to be different? Viewed differently? It's crazy. Yeah, the new numbers came out. Thank you, Marcel. The new numbers came out. There apparently is 987 billion illegal immigrants in America. So if we have that, you know, I don't know how we're going to put them in jail because, again, you have to do due process. You know, you're going to do due process with 25 million people? You know what I'm saying? When you break things down to their core essence, Donald Trump doesn't have a clue what the fuck he is doing. And we've said this. I've said this numerous times. But people are like, nah, he gonna get it right. And I say, how? With what? No tax on tips. You think no tax on tips is gonna make your Tostitos pizza rolls cheaper? How? We've heard nothing of using government agencies to impose fines or restrictions on companies other than Kamala Harris. The housing market. We're gonna get these illegals out of here. You think illegal immigrants are the reason why rent is high? What? That's crazy. You see what I'm saying? Like, none of this stuff makes sense, brother and sisters. But this is the reason why we're here. Let's see what Trump got to say.
This was still going very strong. We had 12 seasons, and we had actually 14 seasons, 12 years over. We had a couple.
Well, they canceled The Apprentice when you were running for president, correct?
No, they had Arnold Schwarzenegger do it. I was involved in that. And
wait. He would not be deporting anyone. It's just a political stance. So he's saying he's been running on mass deportation, and he's just not going to do it? So why do you trust him to do anything else? Why do you trust him to make your groceries cheaper? Marcel, do you hear this? Do you hear yourself? Did you read what you wrote? Hold on. Who said the border? Somebody said the border in here. Close the border. That wasn't you. But do you hear yourself? He's been running on that the entire time. And yet you're saying in the fourth quarter, 30 seconds ago, he's just not going to do it. It's just politics. So then why would he help you? What reason would he have to help you? You see what I'm saying? You see how crazy that sounds? He's a power guy. Dog. You're talking about the president of the United States, bro. Did he make the government smaller when he was in office the first time? You see what I'm saying? We have benchmarks to go off of. You understand that, right? We have benchmarks to go off of. So the idea that he's going to make government smaller, did he do it the first time? People love to say, Kamala's been in office 4 years. She ain't done. Donald Trump was literally the president. What changed? When a motherfucker says gas is cheaper under Trump, I'm like, well, gas right now, I just got gas for $2.70. I've seen gas as low as $2.40. How low was gas? They're talking about the Rona. They're talking about the Rona. You're basing your political stance and your future off the Rona. That's crazy. That's insane. You shouldn't do that. But yes, anyway.
I had enough of it, and we did great. It was doing great, but they wanted me to stay. They all came to see me. They said, we're going to give you a contract. They wanted to extend my contract. Mark Burnett is a great guy. And they wanted to extend the contract. Mark said, you're crazy. Don't run. No. Nobody gives up prime time, they said. You know, it's one of those little things, which is probably true.
Nobody gives up prime time, though, for being president?
For running against 20 some odd people, you know. It turned out to be 18 professional people, you know, mostly politicians. They said, who would do this? I mean, it's a long shot. Actually, the heads of NBC came over, the Paul Telegny, all melancholia. They didn't call it depression. They called it melancholia. And they suffered from it. He was a very depressed guy. And this is not going to work out too well. So it's very dangerous. Picking people that are outside of politics is somewhat dangerous.
So you're kind of stuck in a position where you have to pick established people. And then the problem with established people is established people are already indoctrinated into the system.
And they're stiffs in many cases.
Stiffs.
They're survivors. I find that, you know...
What do you mean by stiffs? When you say stiffs?
A stiff, they don't have nothing. They have nothing. Or they're smart and survive. One little thing. So there was a congressman years before I ran, and I was very close to him. And I needed a license on something, and he was very important in getting the license. But it was a little bit controversial, the license, this particular thing that was being licensed. But I was close to this guy and helped him and everything else. And I went to him, I said, I'd like to have your help. And he said, let me take a look at it. I said, ooh, that's not too good, but I really hope you're going to help. And anyway, he tapped me along for a long period of time and ultimately didn't do it. And I said, you are a stiff. You could have done this thing so easy, etc. But it was cut.
The issue with Roe v. Wade is that states shouldn't decide shit. States shouldn't decide what people do because that's still government. You understand that, right? It's still government. Like, regardless of whether it's the states or the federal government, it's still government, which is crazy. Brother, what this man said, there's no point in watching interviews to understand climate. So then what are you going off of? Where are you getting your information from? Where are you hearing the talking points that you're using? Like, it's insane. It's insane.
Controversial. He was in Congress for many years, like 28 years. And, you know, there's a reason when somebody's there for 28 years, you got to be sort of smart.
Right.
You know, you have all the scandals. And I realized he was a survivor.
And so they never do anything controversial. They never take any chances or speak their opinion that's outside of the...
Yeah.
Yeah.
sometimes. And yet I don't disrespect him for it.
So-
I actually respected the guy more in a certain way. I said,
Because
you
he
know,
did survive.
You know what? He's been there like for 28 years, and he made it through. A lot of people don't make it through.
It's a good
They
way
don't
for
last.
non-exceptional people to survive.
Well, it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it certainly is.
So you're in there. You have 10,000 appointments you have to make. Like, so you're getting advice from people. And at one point in time, did you have a moment in time where you realized like these are bad choices? Like some of these people I shouldn't have had in there.
Oh, yeah. I think so. The one question that you'll ask me, that I think you'll ask me,
Hey, no, detect. This is for you, because you said his administration is, you don't vote for the president, you vote for the administration. Was there a point in time where you felt like there were people that you hired that you shouldn't have? Oh yes, I did. So he's bad at picking people to run certain things. I'm just taking what he said as part of the job. I bet it is.
people seem to ask, and I always come up with the same answer. If the one mistake, because I had a lot of success, great economy, great everything was great. We the military, we rebuilt it, biggest tax cuts in history, all this stuff. We had a great presidency. 3 Supreme Court justices. Most people get none. You know, you pick them young. This way they're there for 50 years, right? So,
Right.
you know, even if a president is there for 8 years, oftentimes they never have a chance. I had 3. It was sort of the luck of the draw. But I will say that it always comes back to the same answer. The biggest mistake I made was I picked some people. I picked some great people, you know, but you don't think about that. I picked some people that I shouldn't have picked. I picked a few people that I shouldn't have picked. And
Neocons?
yeah, neocons or bad people or disloyal people or
People that were just
people
bad.
that were into the
You
people
got
that,
bad advice.
Yeah, I mean, look, you're reading about him a little bit today. A guy like Kelly, who was a bully, but a weak person. You know more about bullies than anybody probably around because you deal in a certain sport where the bullies are exposed very quickly.
Yeah.
But he's bad. Bolton was an idiot, but he was great for me because I'd go in with a guy like a John Bolton. You know John Bolton. A friend of mine called me up. I was picking Bolton, and he's a very smart guy. His name is Phil Ruffin. He's a very rich guy from Las Vegas. He's a great card player. He doesn't play cards, but he's a great player. You know, he's just a natural. Got poker sense, right? You know, the good old poker sense. And Phil Ruffin is a very, very wise kind of a guy, and one of the richest people around, and has had great success and understands people. So it was in that I was picking Bolton, or I picked Bolton. He called up. He said, "Don't pick him. Why? He's a bad guy." Now he wasn't in politics at all. He's in various businesses. He said, "He's a bad guy. He's just. It always works out bad with that guy." I said, "Oh man, I wish you told me this 2 weeks ago. I already hired him. You know, he's